What's going on, everybody? I'm Tampa Bumblebee. I know why I'm here. You know why you're here. So let's roll out and get to it. All right. So today we're actually going to be taking a look at my Destiny Hunter class Guardian Night Stalker. Now, I was out at the Branson Con this weekend and it was a lot of fun. I actually took first place for best in reused materials. Very proud of that. It actually means a lot to me because all of my builds, I'm really big on recycling, reusing, reducing, and preserving our planet. So it really meant a lot for me, and it really spoke to the amount of work and detail that I put into my builds. Now, unfortunately, what happened though is, and it's my own fault. Now, normally when I take them out in Bumblebee, all of my builds, all my helmets have their own bin that are watertight. They are waterproof and they're usually lined in with foam, and I'm usually really good about keeping them in there when I'm not wearing them. Unfortunately, I got a little overzealous. I had sitting on top and he got knocked off. Now, he took some damage, but we're going to take a look at exactly what happened, how bad it is, and put together a game plan of how we can fix it. Now, a little bit about this build. Now, this is not a helmet that you're going to find in the Destiny video game. This is my interpretation or my design of the Hunter class Night Stalker. Now, because I love the Hunter class, especially the Night Stalker, I love the purple, the black, I love the concept, of the Hunter class. So I wanted to build my own. Now, this one, to build it, I started out actually with the Kylo Ren mask as the base, and what I did was I built a frame up around the back using some foam to build it up, and then I actually used a process that I developed and refined of taking packing styrofoam, breaking it down with acetone, and using that as a buildable material. I have about 250 hours into this helmet alone, not including the rest of the build. So I was pretty upset when this happened. It was not a good night, but I was still happy that I won, and it just makes me want to rebuild it better and go ahead and fix it. Now, thankfully, what happened was it actually hit the floor, and it actually hit here along the respirator. You can see there's a little bit of scuffing here. Now, this is actually just electrical tape around here, but you can see this kind of shifted a little bit. It's kind of pulling up here, so we're going to have to redo that. Not a big deal. The worst of it is right along here. Now, it hit and it cracked, as you can see, coming all the way down along through there, and then a little bit underneath. Now, this actually looks a lot worse than it actually is. Thankfully, most of this is more cosmetical, and it's definitely something that I can fix. It's not going to be easy, it's not going to be quick, but it is fixable. What happened is, this is actually, you can kind of see now, this is the seam where the Kylo Ren mask ends and the buildup that I did begins. There are actually about 6 wires. They're running along, one through here, there's one up here, and then there's one that kind of comes here to the back, and then here, and there's a couple that go down that provide the basic shape of the back and that are connected to the mask and the buildup. So what we're going to have to do now, thankfully, as you can see, this side didn't really take any damage. It did a little shifting. It kind of bulged out a little bit from there on the seam, but nothing a little sanding and repainting can't fix. I'm not too worried about that. So, the game plan. What we're going to do is we're going to knock off all this loose paint, all these chips and everything. We're going to knock out all of any loose of the body filler that's in there. We're going to, this black pinstriping here, this is actually pinstriping, and it actually comes around the front and it comes to the back here. It kind of forms a V shape. Now, unfortunately, because this is pinstriping, it's all going to have to come off and it's going to have to be redone. But that's okay. I got more of it and it was pretty easy to do. I'm not too worried about that. Once we do that, like I said, we're going to knock off this loose paint, knock out all the body putty that's in there, the body filler, and then from there we're going to do some sanding, and most likely what I'm going to use is a mixture of super glue and baking soda that's actually going to form a hard epoxy resin inside there, which is going to help keep this from kind of breaking apart any further. Then we'll use the some body filler, some body putty to fill it in, smooth it down again. Then we're going to do some repainting, and then we'll add the pinstriping back on, and he'll be good to go. A little bit more about this build. It actually has about 6 layers of primer, about 12 coats of this purple paint, about 6 coats of clear coat, 4 layers of Mod Podge. And then the same with the teal. There's actually about 3 layers of this teal on here. Again, about 6 layers of clear coat and a couple layers of Mod Podge. The Mod Podge I use, and you're probably wondering what that is and why I use it. So it's actually this stuff here. And I use this, and it's high gloss. And that is really what gets this really nice glossy finish. And you can see, yes, you can see brush strokes and stuff in there, but that's actually the finish that I wanted. I didn't want it to be 100% perfect. I didn't want it to be battle damaged and everything, but I didn't want it to be this really clear, smooth, glossy finish, because I just didn't think it was appropriate for the build. Now, the only other part that I have to deal with, obviously we're going to have to redo this, but honestly, this electrical tape fix, it was kind of a last minute fix that I did because I wanted to get it done. So I'm actually okay with taking this off and redoing that piece on the respirator. It is going to kind of suck though, because the paint in here is going to have to be redone. So might not completely redo it. We'll see when we get to that point of what we're going to do with that. The only part that I'm not looking forward to as far as the pinstriping, so as you see, it kind of comes down around the side here and it comes in to make that nice little V. It actually comes up underneath here and it comes up underneath and actually goes behind the lens here. So I'm actually gonna have to pull out that lens to be able to redo that. Now thankfully, like I said, a lot of the damage is very superficial. It's just going to be mostly cosmetical. It actually, thankfully, did not crack all the way through, and that was my original fear when this happened. And I was crying pretty much. I was pretty close to crying. So this is actually the inside of it, and see, there's actually just foam in here, which makes it more comfortable to wear. And here you can really see. You can see the original mask, and then you can see where the buildup is. This foam, all these foams here, this is where the wires are. They actually surround it. And you see it actually has little vents in the side, which they really don't do very much for getting air supply through, but yeah, it's better than nothing. I thought about maybe putting some little fans or something in there, but it actually does make it a lot easier to actually hear people and have somewhat decent conversations. So thankfully, like I said, most of it very cosmetical, superficial, not too worried. It's going to be a lot of work, but you know, we'll get it done. Back up here. All right, so that's going to be it for this video. The next video what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to start taking apart. We're going to take off all of the pinstriping. We're going to start breaking off all the loose stuff off of here. We're going to mask it off and start doing some sanding and some refilling, and we'll go from there. So leave a like, subscribe if you would. It really helps me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.